Food Social, you can explore, save, and share recipes from your favorite foodie influencers. Save to collections, create free meal plans, and shop the ingredients you need with ease. On Food Social, we make it easy to find great recipes, get your ingredients, and connect with hundreds of trusted creators.
Hey, Michelle.
Hello.
Happy Tuesday. Oh, the air conditioning just turned on behind me. Can you hear it?
No.
Oh, it's so loud. I very quickly turned it off.
I am cold. It's officially fall, I guess, so I can be cold, but I have a jacket on, which is not normal for me.
Yeah. We've had rain for like the last 24 hours here, and everything is soggy out there.
Yeah.
I'm kind of excited about it, though. We've had a drought, and so we needed it. There we go.
Yeah.
Shutting off.
Yeah.
It's so loud. The furnace is right behind this wall in the office, and if you're within 20 feet of it, it's just so loud.
I can't hear. Well, maybe now that the music is. I don't think I still hear it.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
Well, good. Maybe the music just covered it up. Happy Tuesday.
Yes, agreed.
In the great tradition of this show, Michelle, you don't know what we're talking about today.
I do not. This will be fun. Hopefully, I can shoot from the hip as you say, and
yeah,
channel my mom and just talk.
I have no reservations about it today.
Great. Happy to hear.
So, you and I have both been creators for a very long time. We're so lucky that we've been creators as long as we are. And
yes,
I'm continually thinking about this topic of people learning to cook. And I think when Haley and I started Primal Palate, we were in our late 20s, and we knew how to cook, obviously. We were still learning. And I think over time, you see different generations like millennials, Gen Z, Gen Alpha. These new generations get to this inflection point in their lives, usually in your early 20s, late teens, early 20s, where you learn to cook. And I think it's so interesting as a creator to be continually thinking about that, right? Because like in our own evolution, we're progressing and making things that are maybe more and more complex or immersive. I know that you still make virtual recipes, and we do too, but there's people out there always who are just like learning how to cook. And so I thought we could each give our 3 top like tips or techniques. If somebody came to us, a child, a relative, a friend, somebody on the street said, I don't know how to cook, what are the 3 things I can do to help learn to cook, whether it's a technique or learning about some type of ingredient? And so I thought it would just be a fun topic today. If you're starting from nearly zero, right? Not born yesterday, but nearly zero, what are the 3 things you can do that will give you a lot of bang for your buck as you're learning to cook? What do you think about that topic?
No, that's good. My mind is racing because I have children, but they're all grown. And so I now have grandchildren that I'm wanting to get curious in the kitchen. So I have done a few things over the years to encourage that. So I'm happy to share those as well.
So I'll buy you a few minutes and go first, and maybe we can go back and forth. So for me, if somebody's coming to me, and like I see this with my own children, Isla's about to turn 6. She's super kitchen curious. I think the first thing for me is, in the truest sense, cooking is heat management. And so the first thing I would do is I would teach somebody about whatever type of stove range they have and managing heat with pots and pans, because I think that's really the first thing, is like cooking means applying heat in a specific way in most cases. And so
Yeah.
that's where I think I would go first. And I think if I were to follow that train of thought, I would basically say there's pots and there's pans, right? And you can't have the heat too high or too low depending on what you're cooking. And there's a little bit of trial and error. You can't leave things on the stove. And
Yeah.
depending on what you're cooking, you might want to have like a cooking fat or some other sort of medium that allows the food to sort of interface with the pot or pan. It's like there's exceptions, right? If you're cooking bacon on a cast iron skillet, the fat is rendering out of the bacon as you're cooking it. But in most cases, there's sort of
Mhm.
that medium of how the heat transfers from the pot or pan to the food. And so I think that's where I would start. I know that's such a huge, broad stroke there, but I think that's foundational,
No, that
in my opinion.
that's actually a great one because I grew up, we had an electric stove,
Mhm.
the coiled ones,
Me too. Me too.
and I didn't even know that gas was a thing
Mhm.
until I was we had 3 kids. We were living in Illinois for 9 months, and that place we rented had a gas stove. And I was like,
Yeah,
what is this? Like,
a whole new
is this
world.
safe? People really cook this way?
Is this safe?
It,
It's actually not, but you
no,
know.
I know, but that, to your point, like it was like, oh, okay, I have to learn this.
Yeah. Uh, it could have been me. Uh,
Oh,
I got a lost connection error on
okay.
my end, so sorry.
Okay. It
Sorry
was
for
Bill,
watching.
everyone. It
That
was
was
Bill,
my
not
fault.
me.
My bad.
No, no, I was just saying that I have to have a gas range now because it is my preferred. But to your point, that is good because cast iron's different on gas than it is on an electric coil or even
Induction.
what's the flat surface?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
like my
Induction is
daughter has that,
totally
and
fixed.
yeah, I can't. When I'm at her house, I asked my grandson, I'm like, show me how you cook on this because I just don't. And he's 12 and he loves to help grandma, do that. And so, but that's a great starting point because depending on where you live and if you're renting, you have you know,
Yeah.
what's there.
Yeah.
So
Starting
I
with
think
the
that's
heat.
a great,
Yeah.
yeah, that's
Okay.
great. That's great. Um, well, for me, and I'll reach back to when my kids were little, I like to get them interested in the kitchen with something that was exciting for them. Pie
Oh,
crust, for example.
yeah.
Uh, I grew up making pies with my mom, and so I got my kids involved doing that, and it was a mess. It was disaster when you get kids helping in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And did the pie crust always turn out perfect? No, they didn't. But did we make memories and are they learning a skill? They did. So I try to first lean into something that they enjoy eating
Yeah.
and finding a sweet spot where it's approachable for depending on the age range of the child, obviously,
Yeah.
or even the grown-ups. Sometimes, I've
Yeah.
taught plenty of pie crust classes where people are like, I don't know. They're just totally out of their element. So,
Sure.
but they want to make pie. And so finding something that you want to learn to make, I think is a great starting point because we're all capable of, recreating our favorite foods. And that's a great stepping stone to like branching out to other things. And so
That's a good.
that's kind of something I did when my kids were little, was finding something they enjoyed eating and then teaching them how to make it, whether or tamales. We always made tamales growing up for the holidays. And so even though I know I don't look like I should know anything about tamales, I know how to make tamales.
Love to meet
So
you.
yeah. So anyways, that would be one of my first things is just find something that you enjoy eating and tackle it. Just
Yeah.
experiment. And uh, there's so many videos nowadays that was not available
Mm.
back even 10 years ago to the capacity it is now.
Yeah.
But that's it's just a fun because then you might have something that you enjoy eating when you're done. It might be messy. It might not look like the picture that you imagined in your mind, but it's a great stepping stone into something exciting.
I I love that, Michelle, and I'll totally echo that. Not to use it as one of mine, but I think that's such an important point. The way that I would frame it in my mind is that if you're picking those things that you love to eat, or sort of learning foundational recipes, you can just keep coming back to those over and over again and practicing. And the practice of a dish over and over again will give you familiarization with techniques. So over time,
Right.
you'll understand how to control the temperature on your stove, or does this recipe like room temperature eggs, which we've talked about. So just that
Right.
repetition and that practice, just like learning
Yeah.
an instrument or learning a sport, like the discipline and practice is really important. So I like that.
Yeah.
Um,
Agreed.
okay, so another one for me, I would probably see, I'm like kind of on the equipment side, but I would say I would probably teach them about knives, right? Because I think the cutting and chopping is also just so important to so many different things, where
Yeah.
baking a whole potato is totally different than baking like diced potato.
Hmm.
So being able to understand how to chop, cut, prep ingredients, I think has some of the most broad applications across cooking. And I think
Yeah.
then I would say, okay, well, like knife skills, right? I think if I were to follow that down even further, I would say you really only need a handful of knives, like a good chef's knife,
Yeah.
a
Hmm.
paring or a utility knife. Not this kind of utility knife that I have here, but something that's utilitarian.
Yeah.
It's always helpful having something that's serrated around too. What if you want to cut like
Sure.
a bread or something like that? But
Of course. Yeah.
mastering the chef's knife and having like the right cutting board, having the knife sharp, knowing the technique of curling your fingers so you don't cut your fingertips off. Like those sorts of things will carry you through your entire lifespan of cooking. And so I'd probably say that's my number
Right.
two tip.
Yeah. And along the knife skills, why everything needs to be the same size? Like,
Yeah.
because in my mind, I'm thinking one of my grandsons asked, "Why do you do it that way? Why?"
Good question. Glad you asked.
And that's my grandpa was always like, you have to get a kid to not say why. You'll know you're done when they don't say why as you're asking, their questions like why. And so the why around why knife skills are important is because if you're dicing a potato and they're all not about the same size, they'll cook at completely different times.
That's
And so that's a why. That's why it's important. And also curling your fingers. And I have sliced off the top of my finger
Uh-huh.
by not being careful with said chef's knife. And so,
Yes.
so yeah, that's a good, and I will echo, like, I only have a few knives. I don't have a drawer full. I have two or three that I use all the time.
Yeah.
And I don't have a big knife block with all and not that that's wrong.
Yeah.
I just haven't felt the need to spend money on that for me, because I have a
Yep.
couple of solid knives that work and I'm good.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, same. We've got a handful, like probably more than we need, but I literally just go like small, medium, and large. I've just got three that I can. That's
yeah.
covering 95% of what I do. So
Yeah.
I really agree.
Uh,
Okay, so that's my number two. What's your number two tip?
Um, well, on that, maybe just to follow up on that, and coming back to kids, like I will gift my grandkids kitchen knives that are good or safe for kids, and
Yeah,
so
like the
I've
plastic
done that
ones that are
plenty.
serrated. Yeah,
Right.
Isla has those.
Yeah.
I love those.
Yeah. But number two for me, and this is gonna lean more into my grandkids because there wasn't the availability when my kids were little. But I like to have conversations with whoever. It can be your grandkid, it can be your neighbor, whoever. But is there a certain type of food that you enjoy?
Mm.
Like, let's say, do you like ramen? My oldest grandson loves ramen. And so he knows that. I know that about him. He knows I know it. I will gift him cookbooks
Oh, I love that.
that are ramen specific.
Yeah.
I gifted him his own ramen bowl with chopsticks. It's just this continuing theme of finding not just a meal, but maybe a genre that excites you and lights you up in the kitchen so that you are excited to explore it
Yeah.
and have the right tools to do it. And it was a kid's ramen book. It was very although he's 12 and he cooks like he's 18. Well, he thinks he's 18.
Get 'em
He's
on
not.
some
He is
social.
definitely. Um, but he loves that kind of food, and he and I, it creates that connection for he and I too. And I like creating memories with each of my grandkids in a unique way. Many of them are universal,
Yeah.
but but I love to help anyone find a sweet spot of a kind of food that you like and enjoy the flavors of, and go down that avenue and find out all sorts of things, different ways to season it or things you can add to it. So that's
Yeah.
another kind of tool that I would say if you're new to cooking.
Yeah.
Hello, someone's
Hello.
calling.
Hello, we're live.
Hello.
We should get Haley
Anyways,
in on the show sometime.
yeah,
Hello, caller, you're on the air. Where are you?
yes,
I'm working.
yes,
That's a great one. I love that this thread of what I know about you and what you're saying is like starting them young, right? Like find something that they like, sort of embrace
yeah,
what they like, so that they sort of we're going through all of this with Isla and Luke, and Isla has much more interest in it currently than Luke does, but Luke copies her,
sure,
so
sure.
I love
And
that.
I will say this works for cleaning too. Like get them cleaning when they're young, doing dishes when they're young,
Great idea.
or vacuum when
Yeah,
it's a fun thing like
being a big helper.
sweeping, or yeah. It follows through into, because at one point they won't think it's fun, but they'll still have the skill.
I love that. All right, number 3
Anyways,
for me. I've got so many different things that I could pull on this one, but I think the thing that I come back to, and this is super on brand for me, is looking at like flavor enhancers, seasonings, condiments.
mm,
Okay,
yeah,
you know how to manage heat, you know how to cook and chop things. How are you layering flavor? And I think for somebody just starting, kind of educating them about foundational spices and seasonings like salt,
yeah,
like pepper, the herbs, how you add heat and spiciness to dishes, and why and when do you do that? How do you increase umami? Then
yeah,
how do you bring in sauces, right? Because sauces are often the source of umami. So I
right,
think I would just say, okay, if you know how to do those couple things, how you leverage a few of those specific ingredients, then you're on your way. You're going to be practicing dishes that you like. You're going to understand the foundational things. And if you can just get to 5 recipes that you can
mm,
make reliably, you're going to cut costs, right? Because you're not going to be eating out as much.
right,
And then you're going to build this foundational skill set that you can grow with. And I think that's like, this is the topic that I think about so often as a food creator, is like, how are you continually educating people? So I think
yeah,
those are my 3.
yeah. No, that's great, because there are so many new things coming all the time too
Yeah.
that are exciting to try out. New products, new brands, new ways to flavor something, like pistachio butter's having a moment with all the Dubai chocolate, and it's delicious, not just in Dubai chocolate stuff, but it's just really good.
Yeah.
So riding the wave of what's innovative and new and exciting is, it's right on the tail end of that,
Yeah.
because you're always learning, and that's what's kind of exciting, I think.
Yeah.
So a third one for me, and this is I've been doing this my whole life, and as I'm thinking about it, I'm like, I have been doing this a while. Um, but to generate some curiosity and creativity, maybe like we had last year, we had several people in our family turning a decade. Like Drew turned 60,
Mm.
my sister turned 50, we had a son or a nephew turning 40, a son-in-law turning 30, and so we had a decades party,
Oh, fun.
and we all had foods from different decades, and so it was kind of like, find a creative way to get curious in the kitchen around a theme. If it's for a party, if it's for a family gathering, maybe it's around some memory that you all enjoyed as kids, or something, just something to call out to, so that it's a memorable moment and the food around it matches that vibe. And then the curiosity, like our decades party, we had so many like from the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s. We had all these different things that were popular.
What did you
Uh,
make from the 80s? I'm so curious.
oh,
Remember?
I can't. I'd have to go look. My daughter made up these little cards, and she hand drew the. It might have been. I can't remember for the 80s. We
Oh,
had Jello for the 70s.
yeah,
We had little Jello, rainbow Jello things, you know, because Jello was big in the 70s.
big. Yeah.
Um, 80s might have been Dunkaroos, or I can't remember
Yeah.
now. Anyways, but that's what I'm saying. It just created a bunch of curiosity. Everyone got to weigh in on what we were doing. We all enjoyed just creating memories and talking about the different decades and food that was available and having fun making recipes around it and trying to remake some with better for you ingredients. So
Yeah.
it was just, it created a moment. And I think when you're trying to learn and get curious about food, giving yourself a theme is often really helpful too,
Yeah.
because then it kind of channels your thinking a little bit. Instead of all of this,
Yeah.
you're kind of channeling to one area, and it makes it a little bit easier to digest. So that's a theme of some kind, I guess, is something that might be great for a dinner party, or you're having guests over. We'll do plenty of baseball nights where we have friends over and we have First Friday at Fenway. Like, then you have ballpark food, you know, so
So fun.
just, yeah.
I think a lot of folks, especially in their early 20s, do sort of stumble into that, whether it's like
Yeah.
eating for fitness, right? Like you're working out, or eating for survival, you're away at college. But
That's a real thing, yes.
I love the idea of a theme and a focus, right? I think that in some ways it's sort of a natural progression of cooking too, is that you sort of there's a reason why you're starting, right? And I think
Yeah.
attaching, to the why is really important to sort of keep you going with that curiosity.
Yeah. And there's so many things nowadays that it's almost too much. And so to
Mm.
focus in on a theme again, just, and maybe it's just my ADHD brain, like if there's too much of this, nothing is happening. And so to bring it down into a theme is often helpful for me, just so that I'm not trying to do everything. I'm just doing this thing
Yeah. Yeah.
instead of all of it.
That's important. Yeah. I think that's great. Well, that's
Yeah.
fun. I love this topic. I think it's such an important one for creators, and I'm having a lot of fun exploring it with my kids too, because it's just
Oh,
it's a fun time. They're sponges. They want to learn it, and once you can
they
get
do.
once you can get over the mixed results and the mess and
Yeah.
the lack of speed.
I know that's true. I mean, I gave my 9-year-old grandson a cast iron pan for his birthday,
Oh,
and he loved it.
I
And
love
I'm like,
that.
people are like, "You gave him what?" I'm like,
Yeah.
"He loves the kitchen. He loves it." And it's like, okay, so yeah, get kids curious, because by the time they're adults, who knows what's going to be available and around to cook.
Love it.
So
I love it.
yeah,
Well, thanks for
So-
humoring me with the surprise topic.
of course. Happy to.
And we'll be back again
Fun.
tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern. Do we know what we're doing tomorrow? Or is there going to be a surprise for me?
Maybe it'll be a surprise for you. We'll see.
Great. All right. See y'all tomorrow. Thanks, Michelle.
Okay, everyone. Bye.
right. Bye.